Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Been out of these streets, nigga trying to eat while the police on family stealing from me. I'm on told me to pray, but white Jesus can't save me. Get him away from me. I don't know what to say. So many niggas hating me. Get them away from me.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Trying to keep it on the true side, nigga. Laying low to play it cool now, nigga. Ass niggas on the team, I've been known to get the green ever since I was 2-5, nigga. Coop hanging out the roof, nah, nigga. Cause I ain't stunting on them. Put my whole team on so they ain't wantin'. When niggas doing bad, you know that they be hating on you. Get the hoping that you power, they be waiting on it. Bullshit get bread from the envy. Best friends get to looking like enemies. When you got it in this bank account empty. Perfect recipe to breed a lot of jealousy. Looking from a bird's eye view. Learn from everything I've been through. Told my baby girl, if you ain't spending life with the nigga, never let him put a dick up in you. Cause if a nigga wrong, I'ma check that shit. And we get paper long, never flex that shit. Told my son, when you getting money, never trick it to a bopper, flip it over, then invest that shit. Give a lot of game, trying to bless my kids. Gotta keep it real, that's the best shit. Got hitters up in Philly, back in Texas. When I get up on the track, yeah, I wreck shit.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Always sip on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome.
Okay, you put a video out, and you put 500 down on it. I'm not even, I can't hear me, but you put 500 down on it. You got to make a return on that investment, or you just spending $500.
Right. Yeah. Another thing is like, we got to get some people on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, and we got to have like topics that everybody want to hear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about like relationships. Like, that's big.
That's the big, right? I was just talking about that today. Shalom, Lord of Christ. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters that's in the building. Let's get it on, man. You already know what it is. It's the ISUPK scripture breakdown class. If somebody see my book bag, it might be on the thing. If you could grab that, Bubba Kashaw, out there on the table. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of go into something unless y'all had any questions, but let's go into some stuff, man. Let's take advantage of, you know what I mean, the time that we have to get, you know what I'm saying, to get some of this stuff done. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, even, you know, I still learn, man, every day. Every day I'm learning. I mean, what's the name? Hit me with a scripture today, man. I mean, Zarabakar called me today, you know what I'm saying? And he asked me a question. And some of these questions, you know, you don't hear in a long time. You know what I mean? Right. But you gotta, but the thing is, you gotta see, you have to drink it fast with that kind of cup. Yeah, that kind of cup is just, they suck. All right. If y'all could let me know. Hold on, let me check the feed real quick. But who's in here, man? Let me see who's in here, man. All right. If y'all could share the feed too, man, because that would be greatly appreciated. Give me 1 second. But if y'all got any questions that's can hear this, y'all let me know, and then we'll get it. We'll get it answered. All right. We'll work it out. Y'all can share the feed too, man, because that would be greatly appreciated. Oh, okay. I see. 1 second. But if y'all got any questions that's can hear this. Okay, there you go. Yeah. All right. So the main thing is, hold on, let me make sure I'm right here. All right, go back out of here. All right, testing. All right, yeah. All right, so maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, so the main thing we want to do today, man, is take advantage of the time that we have so that we can learn something. All right. Now, do anybody got any questions in the class? And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you might not know what to ask. You know what I mean? You might not know what to ask, but, you know, it comes in play when you start to do your studying, when you're really studying, you'll have like a lot of stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So you want to take advantage of it now so that you can learn these concepts and learn these types of things so that when it gets presented against you, like a pastor or a Christian that's in the world, they going to come up and confound you, and you don't want to get confounded. All right. All right. I was reading the scriptures, right, and I seen how you can prove that that Paul went to the Israelites when he went to because I remember who did I call? I think I was talking to Captain Ariya about it, but when you know how like you read like the beginning of the like when it says like who Paul's epistles and who his letters were written to, and how you can go like right to the beginning.
Right.
But Zerubbabel, he had called me earlier, and he had asked me about Zerubbabel had asked me about Shalaka. And he had asked me about what was that question you had asked me?
Like, is it in something in the Bible that speaks against like okay, like the spin that the Christian church has is that back in the day.
Can you say it in the mic, please?
Like,
yeah. I just want to, get that question.
The spin that Christianity has on the Bible, it led people to believe that that men would date younger girls, and that you are allowed to take young girls and make them your wife.
Yeah.
So, is there any scriptures that talk about that?
Yeah.
So to let you know that that wasn't part of our custom. That was more so like the spin that Christian put on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Then also, Muslims, they do that too as well. Right. When you look at Muhammad and Khadijah, I think she was like 9 years old or something like that. Right. And then, just to go back on what you were saying earlier, which was a great question when you called me about that question. It was a great question. And then you know how like in the what they got the Book of Enoch or something like that, it tried to talk about how she was a little girl or something like that, or right. And remember I showed I went through and I showed how in the Bible it contradicts that, because it shows that she was a woman. It right. said that he would go and meet a woman, not a little girl. Right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get to that. I'm gonna just go back on it, of course, just so that the brothers know. Do you know about the age of like dating, the age of getting married, different stuff like that in the Bible?
Somewhat, but not like too
like what do you know?
As far as like the age,
mm-hmm.
I would probably just need a fresh recap and then drop my memory.
That's a good answer. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what you know, man? But look, man, just go ahead and start spitting something, jog my memory real quick, and then, you know what I'm saying? I'll bring it right back around. Yeah, that's the right way to do it. All right. So boom, right? So we're gonna go through some scriptures just to kind of show you. Now, in the scriptures, like, it doesn't say like, hey, this is when you can get a wife at this particular age, like, you know what I'm saying? And you won't find a scripture in there that will say that. But I'm going to show you some scriptures just to prove it to you, all right? To prove to you about the times when we got married, right? Let me see. Let me get somewhere where you can get right to it. Okay. Numbers 32 and 11. Numbers 32 and 11. All right. Let's get Numbers 32 and 11. If anybody could read it, it's a while. Does the camera look clear or no? Look dark? Oh.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to 32 and 11 when you got it, Warrior.
Book of Numbers, right?
Yeah.
Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse
11.
11.
Mm-hmm.
Surely none of the men that came out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and to Jacob, because they have not violated.
So hold on, let me get there with you. So what read it one more time from the top.
Verse 11.
Which one? Let everybody know where you at.
Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old,
How old?
20 years old
Mm-hmm.
and upward shall see the land which I swore unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob.
There you go. So how old were they?
20 years old.
Right, 20 years old. Now, in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, we don't celebrate our birthday, but we do know how old everybody is. Get my point? So you had to know how old you were so that you would know how old you was to go into the temple and do the service of the Lord. Like the Levites had to be a certain age before they could go in and do the work of the Lord, right? So it says surely. So I'm going to bring it all the way home, right? From 20 years old, right? So it says, surely none of the men that came out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and to Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, right? All right. Now drop that, right? Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Can I? You said this is it's a wild question. I always thought it was solid. Said version of marrying age. Right. It does. When it says that Anna was married her husband, when it says 7 years past her virginity. You know what I mean? And it says that she she knew not a man or whatever. But we'll pull that too. Just give me a second. All right. Yawa Ash. All right. Yawa Ash. All right. So let me get Second Chronicles 25 and 5. Second Chronicles 25 and 5.
Book of Second Chronicles, chapter 25, verse 25 or 5?
25 and 5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
25, verse 5. Moreover,
Amaziah
Amaziah gathered Judah together
Mm-hmm.
and made them captains
Over 1,000.
captains over 1,000, and the captains over 100,
Mm-hmm.
according to the house of their fathers, throughout all Judah and Benjamin, and the number of them,
And he numbered them.
and they numbered them from 20 years old and above.
How old?
20 years old and above.
One more time.
From 20 years old and above.
Right. So in Israel, it was always a custom in Israel. Well, I don't want to say it like that, but in Israel, when you was a certain age, was the age that you had to be like you couldn't be under a certain age to go to war, right? So, and when you would have to do like certain services in the camps that you were in, you had to be a certain age to do it. All right. So you see how you keep hearing that 20 years old, 20 years old, 20 years old. Go ahead.
Right. So is 20 like the legal age of like Israel?
Yeah, in a sense. Like think of it like how today, right? You can't go to war until how old you have to be?
18.
Right. So in Esau's kingdom here in America, you have to be a certain age to go to war, right? You have to be a certain age to get married too, right? So we're gonna break it down, right? Because the question was, the brother asked about. Well, could you say it one more time? The question again, it's lock here.
Kind of like, was there like an age that is like an age of consent, like for a man to marry a woman?
Yeah, man to marry a woman.
You know what I mean?
Right. Now and they say that it's like we are allowed to marry like kids.
Yeah, like young girls, like they think that the older men took on younger girls because of the lies that Esau put in there and what they said was going on in society at that time. But of course, the lies of who the Israelites are.
Right, right. So could I get First Corinthians 14 and 40? No, that's not the one I want. 2 Chronicles 25 and 5. No, I'm sorry. Slack here. 1 Corinthians 7 and 2. If you could read that for me, please.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication,
Mm-hmm.
let every man.
Every what?
Every man.
Have
his own wife.
Have his own wife.
And let every woman.
And let every what?
Woman.
Have
her own husband.
Right. So you see how what was it? What was the main point in what we just read? Why you qualm?
Every man. So
you go ahead, say it.
So every man have his wife, and every wife has her man.
But what's the words that's remember, because he's talking about when we can get with a woman, right? You know what I mean? He was saying like how they try to spin it to say that we, are men that are marrying young girls. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. But what did Paul just say? He said to every what? Man, right? And every woman, right? So he didn't say every man and every girl. He said every man, right? All right, go ahead. Lord Christ. We got Knock in the building, you know what I'm saying? We got Sister Kiyawana in the building, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Officer Marah. All right. What's going on, sis? All right. So we going into the brother question, which is a great question. And so the main thing was what? When Paul said it, he said a man should marry a woman and a woman should marry a man, right?
Right.
All right. He didn't say young kids or nothing like that, right? All right, cool. All right. Boom. Let's go to Let's go to Deuteronomy 24 and 5. Deuteronomy 24 and 5. If you don't mind, could you read it, Mr. Robert Carr?
New messages received from +1 801 645 0893.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
When a man have taken a new wife,
When a man what?
have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war,
Mm-hmm.
neither shall he be charged with any business.
Okay.
But he shall be free, Salaki. He shall be free at home 1 year.
Right. So this is a brother who, this is the law basically on when you're permitted to go to war, meaning that if I just get married to a rib, they can't just take me, you know what I mean? I don't have to just go to war right away. Right. I get a year to just chill with my rib or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's because the age would be that I could go to war would be 20 years old. Right? But if I'm 20, right? Yeah, by right, I'm supposed to be eligible to go to war. But if I get a wife, you know what I'm saying, within that time that it's wartime, then I don't have to go with the rest of the men because I get a year to enjoy my wife. You know what I mean? Because if I go to war, I might get killed. Right? So, all right. So, keep reading. From verse 5, one more time. Mm-hmm.
When a man have taken a new wife,
mm-hmm.
he shall not go out to war,
mm-hmm.
neither shall he be charged with any business,
mm-hmm.
but he shall be free at home 1 year,
mm-hmm.
and shall cheer up his wife,
mm-hmm.
which he have taken.
That's right. All right. Tobit 1 and 9. Mm-hmm.
So, if a brother didn't want to go to war and the war lasted for 10 years, that means he could get away for every year, so he wouldn't go to war.
No, you mean okay? What you mean every year? If you try to get a wife every year? Man, that's cowardly though. We've never been like cowards in Israel. Israel never been cowards. We've always been men of war. You know what I mean? We went to war because it's no need for you to be a coward when you got the Lord on your side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that. I mean, come on. I mean, you try to get a rib every year so you don't gotta go to war. What kind of brotherhood is that? You know what I'm saying? Damn, he's a sucker for that. All right. Oh no, look, now is the Robert Carr one come to life because you came in here with the tequila. All right, no sweat, man. The Akim, he didn't want the Akim. He didn't want the Akim up there. I had to get the Akim tonight. Yeah. All right, no sweat. All right, so boom. All right, so we know, okay, so brother, you're a certain age, you don't got to go to war because you got to do rib or whatever, right? Anybody got Tobit 1 and 9? Uh-huh.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Furthermore, when I was come to the age of a man.
Uh-huh. Say that one more time.
Furthermore, when I was come to the age of a man,
mm-hmm.
I married Anna of my own kindred.
Uh-huh.
And of her I begat Tobias.
Uh-huh. So when he came at the age of a man, you see that? So we're reading that, you know what I'm saying? When this brother became when he came to the age of a man, he married his wife, right?
Right. So
we know that it's a clear distinction between when this brother, you know what I mean, when you can marry a woman, right? Because this is the question, this is what the brother is talking about. This is the question he's asking, when can you marry a woman in Israel, right? And what we're getting at is when this brother becomes a man. And we know that becoming a man is what age?
20, sir.
Right, 20 years old, right? All right, let me get Genesis 37 and 29. The water too. Oh man, you had this in the car. It's hot. Trying to get in the shot the best way in the shot. All right. All right.
This is the book of Genesis,
Uh-huh.
chapter 37, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And Reuben returned unto the pit,
Uh-huh.
and behold, Joseph was not in the pit.
Uh-huh.
And he rent his clothes.
Uh-huh.
And he returned unto his brethren
Uh-huh.
and said, the child,
The what?
the child
Uh-huh.
is not.
Is not. It said, this is when Reuben, when they put Joseph down in the pit, Reuben came and he saw that he wasn't there no more. He went back and told his brothers and said, the child was not. Like he wasn't in there anymore, right? The child. Go ahead up to verse 2.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 2. These are the generations of Jacob.
Uh-huh.
Joseph,
Uh-huh.
being 17.
Being what?
17.
One more time.
17
Uh-huh.
years old.
See that? So if he's 17, and when Reuben went down and saw that he wasn't in the pit, what did he say? Who wasn't there?
The child.
The child wasn't there. So according to the scriptures, you're not a man at 17.
Right.
You're a child, right? And men, remember when we read in Corinthians when Paul said, "Let every man have his woman,
Right.
and let every woman have her man, which is her husband," right? So it doesn't say let every man have a child. It doesn't say anything like that. It says that you're supposed to have a woman, and a man is supposed to have a woman, and a woman is supposed to have a man, meaning that they're two adults, right? Let me get the one where it says 7 years past her virginity. Mm-hmm.
So like if we can put it in this sense, like even Esau have certain ages when he considers you can handle the responsibility.
Right.
Like drinking is at 21.
Mm-hmm.
He said you can handle that. Even Esau consider you being able to go to the military when you're 18.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you a man.
Right.
He consider you being a man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right. And so like a kid can't get married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to get married in Esau's kingdom and you're 16 or 15, you got to get your parents to sign off on it, right? But you can't just do it on your own. Why? Because you're not an adult. Go ahead. All right, you got it. Luke 2 and 36. The book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 36. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Luke chapter 2, verse 36.
Uh-huh.
And there was one Anna, a prophetess,
Uh-huh.
the daughter of Phanuel,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
of the tribe of Asar, of the tribe of Asher.
Uh-huh.
She was of a great age,
Uh-huh.
and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity.
7 years from her virginity. Uh-huh.
She was a widow of about 84 years,
Uh-huh.
which departed not from the temple.
Is that the one I wanted? That was the one where it says, and I wanted the one where it says, and not a man known her. She was a virgin,
Okay.
and not a man, and no man known her, or something like that. Huh?
Okay. Genesis 24 and 16.
You got it.
Okay. The book of Genesis, chapter 24, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the damsel was very fair to look upon,
Uh-huh.
a virgin. Neither had any man known her.
Why would it have to say that if it's automatically means that if you are a virgin, you haven't had sex? Why would it say that she's a virgin and no man have known her? You know what I mean? Like basically saying she's a virgin and she didn't have sex with nobody. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. So when you look in the Bible dictionary, it talks about how a virgin is a woman of marriageable age, and she didn't have sex with nobody. You know what I mean? That's proving that point. You know what I'm saying? But when it was talking about Anna, where it said that she was with her husband or whatever, 7 years past her virginity. Go ahead.
No, I had a separate question.
Yeah. So when a woman comes on her flower, like 12. Yeah, 12, 13. Add 7 years to that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get like 19, 20 years old. Right. So come on. Go ahead.
My question is, okay, because I was going at it with, I was going at it with my grandparents yesterday, and they, they pastors, and so of course, they like to run to Paul's writing in the New Testament. So I asked my grandmother, who's a quote unquote pastor or whatever, and I asked her about Timothy verse 2, chapter 2, verse 12, right? And how it says that I suffer now a woman to teach. So of course they ran to different women in the Bible that the Lord used, and it says prophetess. Like, what was the job of a prophetess?
A prophetess?
Yeah, when it says that a woman, like it just said Anna, a prophetess. You know what I mean? What exactly was that? What's that?
Like a prophetess is like, like a woman saying, like you look at like Aquila and Priscilla. Aquila and Priscilla was rolling with Paul. You know what I mean? Like Aquila, Priscilla, which she would do like a woman prophesying is like no different than what we do when we go out in the streets and we're saying, yo, this place is going to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to destroy this place. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better get yourself together or the Lord is going to destroy this place. You know what I'm saying? And talking, you know what I'm saying? Like when a woman got a vision or she gets anything like that, she would go to the men,
right?
The men of God, and then, let them know. Like when, what was her name? Deborah went to Barak, right?
Right.
And told him what was going to happen at the Brook of Kison.
Right.
It's like, yo, this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And then he was able to take it and say, okay, this is what we're going to do with it. You get my point? Like like these women that are out here in churches, they're not prophet. How you say it? Prophetesses?
Yeah.
Prophetesses. I can't say that. Right? They're not that because you could tell a fake prophet.
Right.
All right. Let me get Jeremiah 14. Jeremiah 14. Let me see.
So like, was that the sister that went over there and cut the dude head off?
Yeah.
And brought it back.
Yeah, that was forgot her name, Salakia. Yeah, but she went and she stabbed him in the head with a one of them tent pegs. You know what I mean? He was the y'all know the story, Salakia. When at the Brook of Kison. And remember, we talk about it every week when we say which pair is the Endor. It was the king. He was running, and the sister was like, "Yo, you need to hide. Come here. You know what I'm saying? Come up in here. You know what I mean? So you can hide." And she killed him when he was asleep. Go ahead.
So like that was in the Book of Judges.
Yeah. Yup. What's his name? Slocky. Y'all. What's his name?
It's like but she was married to a man that was known in the kingdom. Like his statue was high. So like, her name was Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah. What was her name? Damn, I can't think of her name. No, not her name, but the king. That specific king. Hold on. Well, not getting it up. Hold on, I'll get it right for you right now. The Brook of Kison. Hold on. Anybody in the chat got it? Well, Parbob, when you said Issachar girls can get married at 16, that's that quinceañera thing that goes on, and in a way that's sort of like that thing like a debutante. You know what a debutante is? It's like basically like in the rich world. When your daughter gets to a certain age, like 16 or whatever, she can It's basically like you have a party to say, okay, now my daughter is ready to be, out on the market. Go ahead.
So like, isn't that majority with the Hispanic that goes to the Catholic side?
Mm-hmm.
That's more on the Catholic.
Yeah, it's more on the Catholic side. It's deeply rooted in Catholicism and Catholicism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's deeply rooted in that. That's where that whole quinceañera. I've been to a quinceañera before, and that was crazy. That was like the most craziest party I've ever been in. You know why? Because it's adults and kids at the same party. That was weird. You know what I'm saying? I was with I went with a Hispanic chick. You know what I'm saying? And she invited me to one. She was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? You want to come to my niece's quinceañera?" I'm like, "How old is she?" She was like, "Yeah, she's 15 because Kinsey is 15." So I'm like, she like, "Yo, it's gonna be all, you know what I mean? We all gonna be in there, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be mad people in there, my cousins and everything." I'm like, "Oh, so it's adults?" Like, cause I wasn't really like, I was in the world at the time, but I didn't know the details about it. I was just like, "Oh, it's gonna be." She was like, "Yeah, my people's gonna be there. It's gonna be lit." I'm like, "Okay," you know what I'm saying? So she was like, "Yo, but you're gonna be with me." So I'm like, "All right." So I go in there, and it's like, you see like 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and they're dressed up. You know what I'm saying? Like they dressed up, like they sharp, everything. You know what I'm saying? But then you got adults in there too, and they're on the dance floor too, and the kids are on the dance floor. And they got a DJ, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a real DJ, and it's liquor. You know what I'm saying? It's like alcohol over here, and the adults are drinking alcohol. The kids can't drink the alcohol. But I've never seen a merged party like that. I've never seen a party that's got kids and adults in the same party. Go ahead.
Yeah, my uncle, he had a daughter. He had his
Oh, you get speaking to the mic so they can hear what you're saying.
It's like my uncle, he has a sister. She's Hispanic from Northern Kingdom, and they got a daughter together. And he had to do the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He spent at least $60,000 for
Mm-hmm.
the whole party.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to buy her a dress. The dress alone was like damn near $12,000.
Yeah.
Dress.
Yeah. Look, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. You never ride past a Mexican dress shop and you see them big dresses in the front, and you be like, how does that store stay open? You just said it, how it stay open. Like, I'm like, nobody can't be buying dresses like that. But it's a quinceañera every day. Every day it's one. You know what I'm saying? So they stay in business like that off of those dresses, like you said, because they're like, it's crazy amounts of money for them dresses, man. It's crazy. But yeah, Par Bob, that's where you're gonna get it at. Yeah, Jabin, yeah, King Jabin.
There you go.
Yeah, as remember it says as Jabin at the Brook of Kisan was Paris at Indoor. Yeah, Jabin, yeah. Tawada Kana for that. All right. Where was we at?
Somewhere in Jeremiah.
Oh, Jeremiah 14 and 14. We're talking about, because the brother asked about the prophetesses. All right. Jeremiah 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 14.
Yeah, verse 14. Let's see there. I think that's what I remember. All right.
Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name.
Most High in Christ. That's where it was. Go ahead, keep going.
I sent them not.
Say it one more time.
I sent them not.
No, from the beginning of the verse.
Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name.
Mm-hmm.
I sent them not.
Mm-hmm.
Neither have I commanded them.
Mm-hmm.
Neither spoke unto them.
Right, because women that are prophetesses, they don't speak none of that. You know what I mean? They don't speak what the Lord is really saying. What they're trying to talk about on TV, and Juanita Barnum is talking about everybody coming together, and we all God's children, and all that nonsense. You get my point? So she's not a real prophetess. You know what I'm saying? She just a fake prophet. She's a false prophetess.
If I could, sir, Slacky, I remember one time, I forgot who said it, but they were saying like the prophetess is like a wise, one of them old women.
Yeah.
She's, I think Deborah was the one sitting under the
Yeah, Deborah. Yup.
She was an older woman. You know what I'm saying? So when they came to her, they come to her for like a sister would come to her for advice.
Right. When they said she was a mother.
Right.
She was a mother. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
If I could, one thing, every time they would mention their husband, after they say the prophetess, most of the time they would say the prophetess, they would say the husband, the wife of somebody.
Right. So it's just like when like I'll give you an example like with Aquila and Priscilla. Like, it's just like if you standing there with Shapala. If you standing there with Shapala and we talking to some brothers in the world or whatever, right? And you trying to say, yo, Christ is black, and this, that, and that. And Shapala like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Christ is black. You know what I'm saying? Christ is black, the Israelites, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And she like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We got to repent. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's prophesying. She's saying what is real, it's right. You know what I mean? But they make it look like being a prophetess mean that like you just got like because you got nice clothes on and you say that you're a woman of God, somehow you're a prophetess. And then you say like I went to churches before where they had like women prophetess. I hate to keep saying it like that. They had women that were prophetesses. I don't know. It's lucky. I just cannot say that. But prophetess. And guess what she prophesied to me? That I would like have a CD. She said that I would have a CD, and she saw great things in my future, and I would have she see me on a face of a CD. I thought I was going, I was going to do the damn thing. So I pursued rap, but it didn't work out. You know what I mean? But that's what They only prophesy smooth things. You know what I'm saying? They never say like, yo, I think you're gonna die from living that lifestyle that you living as being a homosexual. They never gonna say that. They always gonna say something that's good. Like, I see that you're a good person, and and I just see you overcoming everything. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people want to hear.
Right.
You want to say something?
No. I think not to bring that early thing. You heard it one time. I think Jim Mahoney brought this up. That whole thing. They would tell you no different what Deborah did when she selling the tree.
Yeah.
Guy and kids, maybe the kids have brothers amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And being wise and decision to the.
Right, but that's the type of sister that the younger sisters don't want to go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of sisters like that in the school. And a lot of these sisters that do leave the school, you know what I mean? If they went to that mother in the school, if they went to that sister that has an age on her, that sister that's been around for a while, and they said, hey, what do you think I should do about this? Or what do you think I should do about that? Then they would be able to save, their spot, in the truth. But what do? They go and get counsel from homegirl from the world. With 7 husbands. That's where they get counsel from. She want to get the counsel from her mom. You know what I'm saying? Because she get that counsel from her mom, she let her mom shake her out of her seat. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. And because your mom is stronger than you are, and you a sister, and you can't be weak in here just because you a sister too. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has to be tough in here, man. You know what I mean? You can't be weak just because you a sister. Right. You know what I mean? And just because you emotional, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the biggest thing too. Like, sisters be like, oh, we're emotional. Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But you can't always make a mistake because you're emotional. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to figure out a way to not make mistakes. And it's called, in psychology, the presence of mind. You know what I mean? And that's the ability to make the right decisions when you are under pressure. All right, so yeah, if you go back it up some, yeah, because that's why I had it off, or just put it on low or something like that. Yeah.
If I could, prophetess was only mentioned 4 times in the Bible. There was only 4 prophetesses, so I mean, every sister can't be a prophetess.
Right. Everybody wants to be. You never notice like nobody in the Bible, like everybody who say that they know who they were in the past life. How come nobody want to be, I don't want to say no name people in the Bible, but everybody want to be King David. Well, everybody want to be Jesus. Like, you see all these cults out there, like Jim Jones said he was Jesus. David Koresh said he was Jesus. Why can't he be Bartholomew? Why nobody want to be Bartholomew? You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to be you know, those cats where, you know, you didn't really know who they were in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to be them. Everybody want to be somebody that was prominent in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Like, to bring it to go with that, why all the sisters just want to be Ruth? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, why do you want to just go straight to Ruth? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to do what Ruth did. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They want to be a virtuous woman. Everybody wants to be a virtuous woman until you start to see what the virtuous woman did. You know, it's like, you know, yeah, she brought the bread home. You know what I'm saying? She brought it home for her husband. She made sure her husband looked good, and he was praised by the brothers. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you know, we always talking about Zarabakar, his hair always done. We like, damn, man, you keep. You said what? You said was. It's like it. But you know what I'm saying? You get my point. Like, we was like, yo. We was like, yo, this brother get his hair done every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And that's not tripping there.
Oh, it's coming back.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Women, why women do that? Why when they mad at you, they won't do your hair?
Right.
Why is that? I just want to know that. If sisters, look, chime in, let me know.
If I may, my rib wasn't the one that was doing my hair. It's a lot.
Oh, most high in Christ. Okay. Let's log in. So, right, to let that be on the record.
Yeah, put that on record.
So, go ahead. You want to say something? Oh, okay. So, but I'll say it, you know, for me, you know what I'm saying? Why is when sisters mad at you, they don't want to do your hair? It's like,
Right.
you're not gonna look good. I'm gonna make sure you look woofy.
Right.
Woofing, you know what I'm saying? But One West sister, right, Paraba. All right, so look, check it out, right? So we're talking about false prophets, right? But it goes both ways, all right?
Right.
All right, keep reading, warrior.
Uh,
I think you on like 15 and 16. 15. Jeremiah 14 and 15.
I didn't even get there yet.
Okay, no sweat. We started Jeremiah 14 and 14.
Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name.
Mm-hmm.
I have sent them not.
Mm-hmm.
Neither have I commanded them.
Mm-hmm.
Neither spake unto them.
Uh-huh.
They prophesy unto you a false vision,
Uh-huh.
a divination,
Mm-hmm.
and a thing of naught,
Mm-hmm.
and the deceit of their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent them not.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they say, swore and famine shall not be in this land.
See that? That's what I was bringing out about Shapala. You get my point? I was using her as an example when I was saying, like, Shapala don't say sword and famine is not going to come here. You get my point? Like, it's a difference. Like, you know, like the prophetess. I'm trying to. How you say it plural? Prophetesses. Prophetesses. Prophetess. Yeah, prophetess, right? So the prophetess, they don't say sword and famine is going to come. Like, you looking at like Juanita Bonham, she don't get up there and say America is going to be destroyed. America is going to fall. It's going to, you know what I mean? Christ is going to return, and this place is going to be taken into control of Christ, and the Israelites is going to rule. She don't say that. You know what she say? Get out and vote. Rock the vote. Hey, get out. You know, be a good American. You know, that's what she tell you to do, right? She doesn't say sword and famine is going to come to this land, right? Keep reading.
Down at Wakan. Verse 15.
No, keep reading the end of 14.
Oh,
I mean, on the end of 15.
The end of 15. Oh, sword and famine. No. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed.
Right. By that same thing that you said is not going to come by being a false prophet, those are the same thing that's going to consume you in the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you can tell who a false prophet is. So when you look on TV and you see T.D. Jakes, you know, he's a false prophet because he doesn't say sword and famine is going to come to this land. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Just like Creflo and everybody else. Go ahead.
Oh, kind. They try to like, you know, play with your emotions. Like they say, no matter your walk of life, like you're great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they don't force you to change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like you know, like it's like an esteem booster. You know, that's what church does. It's like it boosts your esteem because you know we've been so downtrodden for so long. That smells amazing. But you know, we've been downtrodden for so long. you've been up there talking to Yanaquan, huh? It smells just like frankincense and myrrh. You know what I mean? Like it. It smells amazing. It smells amazing. Like cream, don't it? Like a cream. Go ahead, Warrior.
Like the camera right there.
That all that smoke that's in front of the camera, it focuses on the camera. It's focused on the smoke and it blurs you out a little bit.
Oh, blur me out. All right, no sweat. All right, because I got the background blurry. I got that setting on there, so maybe that might. I'm just really trying to learn the camera, so hopefully it looks pretty good to y'all. Okay, okay. Parabah, she said she keep her husband well groomed. All right, wink, 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 wink. For all the brothers in here, you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. All right. All right, that's right. That's right, Paul Beasy. All right. So go ahead.
Pretty much you hitting on everything. I don't know if anybody seen the Commander Black Watch on Monday, but you pretty much hitting on everything that Commander Jerry Hunter was hitting. Tonight. He was hitting on everything Commander Jerry Hunter was hitting on. I don't know if you seen that video about the pastor talking about his congregation, calling them bums.
I did see that. Yeah. Like I seen that like a week ago.
So he was going in on that. He brought that out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he was bringing out everything. He had a powerful scripture, you know, Psalms 81, 12, 15.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you know, pretty much sums it up like how he said, how he put it. He like those preachers that you see the T.D. Jakes and Clifford Dollars, those ones was called first. They were supposed to be able to do this job we was doing, but they didn't do it. They did it with their own lust. You know what I'm saying? And they went towards the lust side. They didn't go for the Lord. They would care about the lustful things of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that pastor was like, I like what do you say? That watch called something. Anyway, he said he like that type of watches. I can't get no Gucci on myself. I don't want to give me Gucci. They pretty much called the whole congregation like bums.
Mm-hmm.
Milano, yeah. Things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it was crazy though. But Benji and Hunter, he touched on it, and you doing the same thing.
And then those kind of cats, those kind of preachers, my aunt would be like, I'm gonna give him $1,000. That's what I need. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you know, if we did that, you know what I mean, we'd be dripping in gold. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, but because we have integrity, you know, because we have integrity, you know what I mean, that we don't do that to our people. Go ahead.
So like if I may, like I'm not gonna lie, like when I was a Christian and I used to watch T.D. Jakes and I used to order like the full service. You know what I'm saying? And he used to act like,
damn, you was deep in Christianity. I wasn't that deep. he was on a deacon board.
No, I was a pastor.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, but like, what they do is like they act like they getting a revelation, and it's like send your tithes in, and you know, I used to send my tithes in, like, oh, I got a blessing, I got a revelation coming from the Lord, and send your tithes in so I can give it to you. So he'll wait like 10 minutes, you know, and start speaking in fake tongues, and they got the music, the emotional music.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say something emotional, like you know, I know you've been through some rough things, and you know that's what they do, and then they get you to spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then they say something very simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord told me to say whatever. You know what I mean? Like, And it's just crazy, like when you think about it, then you read these scriptures, and that's what led me out of the church. Because when I started to dive into the Old Testament and to dive into Jeremiah and read those books, and it talked about the pastors, and then it talked about the false prophets that prophesy lies, and the preachers that's preaching for hire, you know what I mean, and put on the show. It was like very clear. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was very clear.
Right, I understand exactly what you're saying, because I was in the ministry too. I was in the ministry with my cousin. You know what I mean? I was in the ministry and we were working security. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was in church all day, all night. You know what I mean? I've been to tent revivals, all that. I've been to the whole thing. I know the whole inner workings of church. I walked in my cousin's room and he had money out on the bed. He like, look, before we leave here, we're gonna have like 8 G's. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, I was exposed to it early too. You know what I'm saying? I was in a ministry, but, you know, and that's what made me get away from it. And it brought me up until today, you know. So I know exactly, I can, you know, understand what you're saying. False vision. All right, we'll just end it there. All right, we'll end it there on that. Right. All right. Well, how much time we got left? We got 11. Okay, so let me go into this. Right. All right. So, are y'all familiar with the Book of Acts?
No.
Are you? Bring it home. Cut me.
Cut you?
Yeah, the Gentiles can be saved.
Well, in that book, it's funny because I just went through that last night as well. I know it's a situation with Peter, you know, and how Peter, he thought, you know, because of the splitting of the, you know, the tribe of Israel, the splitting of Israel, the Gentiles was the northern kingdom. And Peter, he was from, I believe he was from the tribe of Judah, and he wasn't accepting of those other tribes. And Peter, you know, when the Lord brought down the vision, and he gave him the vision when he was on the roof at Cornelius' house, I believe. And he put all the unclean foods on there. And he said, thou which I'm paraphrasing, thou which I have cleansed, thou shalt not call unclean. You know.
So who did the Lord cleanse?
He cleansed the Gentiles, which was the other Israelites.
Well, give me the precept. Because remember, the pastor, no. You was a pastor, right? Let's go. Hit me with some of that you still remember.
I don't remember no part. I remember a little bit.
Acts, man. Look, when you go to Acts, you have to understand Acts to understand everything else. That's where you want to start at, all right? Sisters, learn Acts. Look, man, don't just because you're a sister in the school don't mean you don't have to learn the Bible. All right? Learn it. You know, do something. There's a lot of sisters in the school. Man, we could have so much stuff going on and popping. All right, sis? Look, focus. All right? Everybody, focus. All right? Look, the book of Acts, you have to understand that to understand the rest of the Bible. If you don't understand Acts, then you're not going to understand Galatians. You're not going to understand none of that, right? Go ahead. 10, let me see. He said that the Lord cleansed Israel, right? He said what God has cleansed, call not thou common. So I wanted to know who did the Lord cleanse? You got it?
I got Acts chapter 11, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
Now they which were scattered Acts chapter 11, verse 19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen, traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the words to none but unto the Jews only. That's not the one I was looking for. I got an even better one that'll get you right to it, like headline it, spearhead it, right where it says it says, okay. So the scripture that I want you to read, Zerabakar, right? Just because we on this topic, read
Acts 10 and 15.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice spake unto him again the second time, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
Who did the Lord cleanse? He said, what the Lord has cleansed, call not thou common.
He cleansed the other Israelites.
Give me a precept.
I don't know what's that.
Ezekiel 37 and 23. And you can read it whenever you're ready. Write it down too, man, so you can have it in your arsenal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things.
Detestable things.
Detestable things.
Mm-hmm.
Nor with any of their transgressions.
Mm-hmm.
But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned,
Mm-hmm.
and will cleanse them.
And I will what?
Cleanse them.
Uh-huh.
So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
Get it? You got it. You spearheaded it right there. So when it says, "What the Lord has cleansed, call not thou common." So when the Lord was saying that to Peter, he basically was telling him, and who did we found out? We just found out who the Lord cleansed was Israel, and that's the precept right there. It said, "And I will cleanse them, so they shall be my people, and I will be their power." So that's where he was talking about when he was talking about that, you know, he never called no man common or unclean or something like that. It's like it. All right, so let's go. Let's get to it, right? Let's go to Galatians 1 and 1. So let me get there with you real quick. All right. So I want to try to help y'all understand Galatians. All right. Read like, and this I was showing Captain Ariadis right here, right? Read the title of Galatians.
It's the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, an apostle.
No, the title.
Oh, I don't have that on.
The epistle of Paul, the apostle to the Galatians, right? So that's what it's going to say. The title is going to be that it's to the Galatians, right? Could you hit that one button on the top of the screen, on the top of the camera, right? It's all the way over to your right. It's like let me see. It's that button right there. You see how it says clear? Yeah, there we go. All right. I think that I was trying to do the background or whatever, the blurry background where it will make me more, you know what I'm saying, up, but it is what it is, right? So it says, read Galatians 1 and 1 to know that we're going to know that Paul is talking to Israelites that are in Galatia.
The epistle of Paul, the apostle of the
Galatians. Right. So a person will read this and they would think that this is talking about the people that are in Galatia, which are white people, you know, pretty much. But we're going to read it, right? Read 1 and 1.
Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead. Verse 2. And all the brethren which are with me unto churches of Galatia.
Unto the churches in Galatia, right? So let's go to Acts 18 and 23. I'm gonna get there with you. I read Acts so many times. I was reading it today, like the whole book, like constantly just reading this book, because when you understand it, you understand everything else. Acts 8 and 31.
23 or 31, sir?
23, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's the book of the Acts, chapter 18, verse 23. And after he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia and Phrygia in order, straightening all the disciples.
Say that one more time. And he what?
Straightening all the disciples. Verse 24.
That was it?
And,
let me see. 18 and 23. I'm sorry. Salaki, I was kind of slow getting to it. All the disciples, right? So who are the disciples? Go ahead.
Israelites.
Right. Give me a precept that they were in Galatia. No, who the disciples are. Because they're in Galatia right now. It said that, it says, and after he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia and Phrygia in order, strengthening the disciples. So what is the pastor is going to try to tell you that he went in Galatia and he was talking to other people who wasn't Israelites, because he was talking to these people that were disciples, and these disciples were from Galatia, and so that means that they are not Israel, they're white people. And that's usually what the argument is going to be. John 8:31. All right. John 8 and 31. You got it, warrior.
Then said Jesus to those Jews,
Those
Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
Say that one more time. There you go.
Then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
Right. So who are the disciples?
Jews.
There you go. Right. So now we know who he was talking to when Paul went to Galatia, right? Who he was talking to. Let's go to Ephesians. Ephesians, man. I remember I was pointing this out. When I was reading this, I'm like, okay, you could just do it like this. So Ephesians, right? It says, Ephesians is, the epistle of Paul, the apostle to the Ephesians, right? Verse 1 and 1.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ, by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus.
Yeah, Ephesus.
Ephesus.
Right. So who are the saints?
The Israelites.
Give me a precept.
Psalms.
This is the one just always remember this one. You'll be in the game if you remember this one. You're in the right book.
Psalms 55 and 7.
Psalms 50 and 5.
50 and 5. Yep, I got it. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
1 second. All right, say it one more time, Warrior.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
There you go. So now, when it goes to the Ephesians, who is Paul talking to when he says Paul by an apostle of Yahweh Shai Mashiach by the will of God to the saints which are at Ephesus?
Talking about the Israelites.
Right, the Israelites that are there, because he said to the saints, and the saints are Israelites. So you can go to Psalms 50 and 5. You also can go to Psalms 148 and 15.
That's the one I was looking for.
148 and 15. And you can also go to, I think that was it. Romans 1 and 7.
The one I was looking for was 148 and 15.
148 and 15. Go ahead, Warrior. You got it.
So could you compare Ephesians 1 and 1 with Ephesians 2 and 11?
Let's read it. 2 and 11. Yeah, 148 and 15. Yeah, 14. All right, go ahead.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 11. Therefore, remember that ye began in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand.
What is that talking about? It says, wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands.
So with verse 12 will verse 12 clear that up?
Go ahead.
That in time ye were without Christ, being alien from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without God in the world.
All right. So what do you mean?
So basically when they were talking about Ephesians 2, was Paul was talking about, and then when it talks about Ephesians 2 and 11, it talks about the Israelites that wasn't wasn't following the law of the statutes and commandments.
But this is different though. This is not even talking about that. It's just talking about in the beginning of the first verse. It's just literally just talking about just to the saints. Period. It don't matter if you was you was Gentile that didn't know you was a Gentile. He just basically said the saints that are at Ephesus. You know what I mean? Like the Israelites that are there. You know what I mean? Like this is who this letter is for. It's for y'all. You know what I mean? And you had want to say something? Oh, okay. So when you go to where it says, but what does that mean when it says, wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands?
Like was this the this was the Gentiles Paul was going to, correct?
Right.
So these were Hellenized Gentiles. So that, which will bring me to my point of when he was talking about the reason why he was going to the Ephesians in the first place.
Right. I get where you're going. I mean, I know what you're trying to say. All right. So what it is you got to know the history of Israel. You know what I mean, to be able to understand it and be able to see what he's saying here, right? But what he's saying is that when he says that, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision. What is that which is called the circumcision? No. So they all got the covenant. Go ahead.
So it was the Jews that was that was following the law.
Right, the Jews that were in Jerusalem.
Right.
So they were called uncircumcision by that which is the circumcision, which is the people that were in Jerusalem, knew who they were, you know what I mean, knew, was following the laws, right? And what they thought they were doing, following the laws, and, you know, and they're saying, these people are the uncircumcision, you know what I mean, right? It says, wherefore remember that in times past, being Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. What's the commonwealth of Israel? Jerusalem, right? And strangers from the covenants of promise, right? Because they were going off. Remember when when the kingdom split? This is what you want to. This is why it's important to get in here so you can get these classes. When the kingdom split, they went off. You know what I mean? They went off and they were gone. And the southern kingdom were there. They were there the whole time. How you can understand that is the parable of the prodigal son. You can understand that in the book of Luke with the prodigal son. All right. And then it says the strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world, right? And then a good precept for that would be 2 Corinthians 15:3. Yeah, you got it. Well, you don't have to, right? Nah, I said it. Go ahead, yeah. Go ahead, 2 Chronicles 15:3. Yeah.
Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now for a long season, Israel has been without the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without law.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4.
There you go. Remember it said because it said they have no hope and without a God in the world.
Right.
Right, because it was a time when we didn't have, you know what I mean? We didn't have no brothers who was teaching. We didn't have none of that. You know, when you look at like Jeroboam and you look at Jeroboam, man, he was raising up anybody. You know what I mean? We had the wrong people as the high priests and everything. They had their own high holy days and they was just doing all kinds of, you know, evil wickedness. And that's why, you know, the southern kingdom wasn't trying to, you know what I mean, deal with Israel. You know how you got Judah and you got Israel? Like Judah wasn't trying to deal with Israel. You know, that's why like when you read the scriptures, it'd be like Judah and Israel is coming back together, or, you know, and that is because, you know, when we were there, we didn't roll and they rolled and they were gone. And then it's like, okay, now we at a point where they can come back after all this time, after doing whatever they wanted to do. And we over here, you know what I'm saying, under the scrutiny of the law and everything like that. And they get to do whatever they want and then come back and we had an issue with that. Go ahead.
Like, could you like put that along with the penny parable? Like how they was upset how the northern kingdom was able to come back after all the things that he did, because the southern kingdom was kind of upset. Like,
yeah, they were upset. That remember I was saying that the parable of the prodigal son.
right.
Yeah, the prodigal son parable. You know what I mean? When they came back, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is like I can give you the best example how like in real life how I experienced that. All right, we went through Hebrew Academy 2016, right? Hebrew Academy 2016. We went through Hebrew Academy. When we started out the class, it was a whole bunch of people in there. When we ended the class, it was only 3 people that was from Philly. I was up there, Marah, and I think it was Mataziala, right? There was 3 people. Everybody else. Now, and I'm not saying everybody left because they left the truth or anything like that. A lot of people left because they had to work their slaveries and stuff like that. So it was just us 3. We were there going through all the hard work and doing the push-ups and the sit-ups and running and all that kind of stuff. And so we got all the way to the last day and we completed it. And then we were like, cool, we completed it. Then like a week or 2 later, you know, like maybe two weeks later, you know what I'm saying, they was like, the generals announced, hey, we announced that all the brothers that dropped out of Hebrew Academy can come back. They could come back and everybody they can do Hebrew Academy in the last 2 months before the Passover. Now, how do you think that made us feel? They had to be there the whole time and wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to New York. You know what I'm saying? And that made me feel like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I've been here the whole time. I've been under this, and they can come in at the last 2 minutes. I mean, at the last 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt that way too. I was like, damn. You know, for a second there. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can come back. And I was like, oh, man. But because I was young in the truth at the time. This was 2016. I had only been in the truth for like a year. And I was in Hebrew Academy, and we had went through the whole thing where they was like, yo, okay, everybody can come back in the Hebrew Academy. And then so, you know, that gave the brothers who dropped out a second chance to come out. Like, not the brothers who had jobs and stuff like that. I'm not talking about them. But I'm talking about the brothers that did drop out. They got a second chance to come back, and they was able to get you know, they was able to graduate at the end. So at the beginning, I'm like, well, damn. You know, I don't want nobody to graduate. I want to graduate. Go ahead.
One of the brothers that dropped out, because what's his name? One brother, light skinned brother.
Who was that?
It was like 5 who that dropped out with us. Gun, Sharmoff, the one brother that kept throwing up, the long beard, that guy.
Yeah.
No,
but he passed.
He did pass.
Yeah, he passed.
He's right. He did pass.
Mm-hmm. He passed. Remember, he left after he got, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Right. But yeah, he left afterwards. You know what I mean? But it just, but I'm just saying, like in that, just to give you an example, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, when you go through something and then, you know, like, you know, the Lord might say, hey, nah, everybody can go through. Everybody get a chance to go through. You know, you might feel a certain way if you had to go through the whole time and deal with everything. Like when you look at the prodigal son, you know what I mean? The parable of the prodigal son, you see how like the one son, he was there the whole time doing all the work and all that. And then the one son, he decided to go off and do whatever the hell he wanted to do. And then he was accepted back. And the other son was like, wait a minute, hold on. I've been here the whole time. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And you're going to let him come back? Like, it's a real emotion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if, you know, with anything, you know. And, you know, and they just, you know what, I'll give you an example. It felt unfair. That's what it was. It felt unfair to the brothers who were there in Jerusalem and had to be under everything that was going on in Jerusalem. And the other brothers got to go off and, you know, get hoes, you know what I mean? And serve other gods and smoke weed and do whatever was out at that time. And they got to enjoy life to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? And didn't have to worry about nothing. But then in the end, they get to come and share in the covenant with you too. You know what I mean? That would make brothers feel like that was unfair. And you can understand. If you can understand that, then you can understand what Paul and Peter and them what Peter and them was going through when they got the revelation that they could go back. They had to go back and go to those same brothers and let them know that they could share in the covenant. And then at the same time, and then think about this. Then you get the revelation that you can go out and these brothers are accepted back. But then the ones that don't care what you're saying, you know what I mean? You still got to tell them that, hey, man, you still accepted. They like, man, I don't care about that, man. I worship Diana. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of emotional stuff that would take part with all that too. All right. So let me get a couple more of these. Let me get. Uh-huh.
If I could, it's a quick question. So like pastors and those other guys, when they teaching these Bibles and they talking about who do Paul go to, right? So they don't see like do they see that who they talking to, like when it comes to like not Ephesians, but like Philippians, like 1:1 when they talk about going to the saints, Colossians when they talk about going to the saints, they still like, do they see that or they just don't care?
Well, you want to sit down?
Mm-hmm. Like what happens is they read it, but their interpretation takes over. Like they don't have the ability to separate the religion from the Bible. So like what they was taught in the seminary or what they was taught, like when it says the saints, they think like you got to remember like what the Catholics name the saints. Like you look at Pope John II as a saint. You know what I mean? Like so those outside things affect your reading of the scriptures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
there
saying?
you go. From a ex-pastor. You know what I'm saying? So Deacon Fry. So when you yeah, and so like you said was absolutely right, like their interpretation from the world. So they look at it like, well, the saints, so that could be anybody that he went to. It didn't necessarily have to mean that it was a certain group of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because of their misinterpretation of the scriptures. You know what I mean? But remember Christ said it, man, the seeing that they may see and not understand. You know what I mean? Okay, so let me get, hold on. Where's it at? Okay, let me get 1 Corinthians. The first one. Beginning of 1 Corinthians. We going through to show y'all that all these chapters he went to the Israelites that were in these places. So 1 Corinthians.
This is the 1 Corinthians. Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, called to be an apostle of Jesus Christ through the will of God, and Sosthenes, our brother, unto the church of God which is at Corinth, to them that are sanctified in Christ Jesus, called to be saints.
You see that? So it's like you can, and I'm just gonna wrap it up with and just letting y'all know, like you can go to the beginning of the chapters and then you can see who he's talking to. You know what I mean? Like every single one. I'll give you one last one. Like the saints, we already got the scriptures on the saints. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10:1.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
Right, our fathers that were under the cloud.
And all passed through the sea.
Right. And so what would give me when did we pass through the cloud? When we passed through the sea. And we were under the cloud.
Out of Exodus.
Right.
When Moses parted the Red Sea.
Right. Exodus 13 and 18.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 18. But God led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. Keep going.
No, that was it. we pretty much solid on that. So I just wanted to let y'all know, man, just give y'all a couple of, you know what I'm saying, little scriptures or whatever, so you can see like everywhere. And all you got to do is when you read it, as you reading, you know what I'm saying, and you going through it, and you learning, and you going through the scriptures, like that's always look for the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying? Like even if they try to like bring you like say like you in like Corinthians or something like that, and you like in the chapters, you know what I'm saying? If somebody's trying to battle you on Corinthians, right? The chapters or whatever, then just go back to the beginning. And then you'll get the context of who Paul was even talking to with all of his letters. Then you go back to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You go back to where it talks about the saints. You go back to the first chapter. You say, well, this because if you're saying this is here, then and I'm saying that this is here, then that must mean that it's a contradiction somewhere, and it's not. Go ahead.
Right. And there's so many ways that you can cut them with Paul's writings. You know, once again, they allow their women to be pastors. They use Paul's writing for the vision as to justify eating crab, shrimp, pork, and lobster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, eating the abominations. They always run to Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and literally, my grandpa said, well, Paul didn't have. When I brought out the scripture about women being pastors, he said out his mouth, listen, and I love my grandfather. He did a lot for me in my life. But when it comes to these scriptures, it's a different story. I love the Lord more. Mm-hmm. So he said to me that Paul did not have the right revelation.
That's, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I just asked him what gave him the authority to say that. And how do you run to Paul for a revelation about eating pork? But then now when it comes to women being a pastor, how do you justify that with Paul's writing? Because Paul is the one who wrote Acts.
Right. But see, the thing is, they always try to the scripture that you know the precept with Paul, right? I think it's 2 Peter 3:15. Mm-hmm. But they basically they don't understand Paul's writings at all. You know what I mean? And then how like you could tell when a person is like when you get back them in the corner, they'll start saying stupid stuff like Paul was wrong.
Right.
You know, you got fake Israelite groups out there now that's saying that like Paul was wrong and he didn't have it all. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, we call it the Christian shuffle.
Yeah, it's like, when it suits you, the Bible is perfect.
Right.
But when you get cut, it's like, it ain't 100% right. You know what I mean? It's just like you said, the Christian shuffle. And that's why it's important that brothers get in here, get in class, learn every day. If you can learn something every single day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Get in the Bible, read it to you. You know what I'm saying? Let the Audible read it to you. Whatever it is that you could do to keep staying in there. You have to. It's a must. Now I'm gonna go. Yeah. You have to stay in the scriptures. You cannot take time off, because when you take time off, you will forget.
Right.
When you look at General Muhammad, you know why General Muhammad is doing them classes every week, all the time, answering all them questions? Because General Muhammad is sitting there staying fresh.
Right.
He keeping that sword sharp. Yeah. And that's why Commander General Yohana is out there, doing the work. Everybody's out there. Look at Captain Tazariak keeping his sword sharp. You have to be out there every single day. You can't take time off for a couple months. Like, I ain't gonna really look at the Bible for a few months, because you're gonna forget everything. All right. You'll remember some stuff, but battle stuff you won't remember. All right. Says, I'll fill you to the end, and had to go into the hospital. All right, Yawash. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Now I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Priest and Officer Knock. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end it out right there.
All right, with that being said,
it's right there. Right where your finger is at the front. No, at the front of it. Right there. There you go.
It's not moving.
Well, it could go in. Well, it's probably already zoomed all the way out.
All right. ISUPK security announcements. We're at ISUPK. Start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York.
Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they offer them for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to show themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 month period, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she is the head comes from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means 10th in Hebrew. My Isharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Send it through Zelle, or put it in a bucket. Priest fund, free will offer for the priest, not mandatory, whatever amount you like to give, or whatever size bottle. Upcoming holy convocation is the feast September.
The 25th. I think it's the Tabernacle. Slaki.
Feast of Tabernacle. Slaki. In Smyrna, Delaware. If you're in Delaware. Also, we got the New York Cookout coming this weekend.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all get on that.
Yeah, let's get it.
You know what I mean? Check the bulletin board in the hallway. If you want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that being said, Ben Israel Amajim, we're going to give him a courtesy salute. Ben Israel, Amad Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yajim Matah, Saw, which means turn. Sisters, could you stand? Ben Israel, we're going to the sister, one courtesy salute. Ben Israel, Amad Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Allah Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajim Matah, which is most name of Christ, watch over you. Yajim Matah, class dismissed. Dismissed.